People are like, can I say that? I'm like, you say whatever you want.
Say whatever you want.
Well, what's going on, you guys? Welcome back to the Unlock Your Freedom podcast, man. Super excited today to connect with a digital marketing expert because I have little to no knowledge in this space. And I'm always really grateful to be around pros who really know what they're doing. And Sami is definitely a pro, and she knows how to break it down pretty simply. And so that tells me she understands what she does really well. So, hey, Sami, introduce yourself real quick for us. Kick us off.
Yeah, hey, thanks so much for having me. I'm excited to be here. Yeah, my name is Sami. I'm a digital marketing strategist. We really work with organizations on making sure their website is set up for conversions and then that their digital marketing strategies are set up for retention of those customers. So that's kind of what we do in a nutshell.
Yeah, very powerful. So talk a little bit about website copy because, before we kicked off the recording in the green room, we were chatting a little bit about the importance of that and the often ignored fact of website copy. So tell us all that's good there.
Yeah. Well, I think the hardest part about working on your website is like you're just looking at this thing and trying to understand all of the elements that need to be included, and it can be very overwhelming. And so our natural inclination is just to talk about all the amazing things that we do and how great and incredible we are. The bigger impact is when we can clearly communicate the pain point we solve, whatever that might be. If it's that you have an online course that helps people be better knitters, or you have services that help people with their mental health, or whatever it is, everybody's coming to look to solve a problem that they have. And so we need to speak more clearly to their problem as opposed to how we do it and why we're the one that they should be hiring to do that.
So somebody who wants to, do better with this, if feel like you're being spoken directly to on that one, what's the first step?
So the first step, I think, is clearly identifying who you're talking to, who's your audience, right? How are we kind of niching down? And I know you hear this from everybody and you're probably rolling your eyes, but it's really important because then it makes copywriting really easy. Because it's kind of like, when you record a podcast, like one of the first tips I ever learned when I started was like, pretend like you're talking to your friend and your friend is sitting on the other side of the computer or the camera, right? That helps you be more engaged, sound, a little bit more excited and not kind of be this monotone person who's just talking. And so similar with your copy, when you know who you're talking to, then you just write. This happens in your email. This happens on your website copy, on your social media posts, everything. If you write to that person, like you're talking to that person, it just becomes personal and it becomes easier actually for you as the business owner. And it becomes more authentic and you're building better communication and better relationships.
So are you talking about, like basically an avatar, creating an avatar and speaking to that?
Your ideal avatar or your ideal customer. Yep.
And, like the reason it gets repeated is because it's really good advice. And that's probably why you've heard it. So, finding the avatar. And I think, for me, there's not just one avatar, there's like one that's really strong for sure. But there's a couple of different types of people that, I serve, and they're all under the same umbrella, so to speak. But the deeper I go, there's, nuances. And could you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. So I think about it like a target, like you're always shooting for the bullseye, right? That's your niche audience. So for me, most of the content that goes out is specific to nonprofit organizations. That is who we're targeting. You'll see a lot of that language on our website specific to fundraising and nonprofits. However, like you mentioned, the things that we do work across industry. So we have clients from all over the board, from health and wellness to custom car parts to nonprofits, right? So the target of who we're hitting is that nonprofit, but because other people are going to see our stuff just inherently, maybe they're on a nonprofit board that we worked for, but now they know, what we do and they want to work with us. That kind of is like, then when you throw a dart and you kind of miss the target a little bit, you're still hitting your same type of people, but you're focusing on that bullseye. And everybody else will kind of come in on the outside. You're not going to lose those people. But when you talk to everybody, it's also like, this is, I guess, a better analogy. Like when you throw a net in the ocean to catch a fish, you're not going to throw it out across the whole ocean. You're going to a specific area of the ocean where the type of fish that you're looking for typically lives, and that's how you're going to try to target, right? I'm hoping this is where I think my audience is. I'm going to hit this area because that's my best likelihood that I'm going to get the right people.
Yeah, that makes pretty good sense. That would be a big net for sure.
And a lot more people and a lot more work and less results.
Yeah, absolutely. And less results, not because you're less, powerful. It's just less effective if you're not going right at what you're looking to solve.
Mm-hmm.
So when it comes to website copy, what kind of tips can you give someone who's, just wanting to get better in that space, in addition to hiring a professional like yourself? What are the things would you suggest?
Well, I think the first thing is about knowing how you want to sound. So we tend to feel like we need to sound super professional, and maybe you're in a field where you do, like maybe you're in an academic field or medical, and like there are guidelines, or financial, right? There are certain parameters where you need to be a little bit more kind of down the straight and narrow for compliance and things like that. But otherwise, have fun with it and have personality and be who you are, be the brand that your company is. Feel free to do that. And I think it's also then about being concise. So how can we have shorter, because people are scrolling. So how can we have like bullet points? How can we kind of format the copy? That's just as important as what you're putting in the words. How can we format the copy so when people are scrolling, they find the information that they need when they need it? And then I think it's literally just put something out there and send it to one of your ideal customers and say, like, does this resonate with you? Right? We get in our own heads. So I think it's putting it out there and making sure that your ideal customer is like, oh yeah, nope, yeah, this makes sense. I feel that. Because we want somebody to land on the page and be like, oh, they get me. Like they understand me, and build that trust right off the get-go.
Yeah, I think that the first point is huge. Make it attractive. Is it something you would want to read? Because I've gone to so many websites or even books when they're written like those old 1940s and 50s books that are just super dense text that's like a 2 font, and you're like,
Yeah.
I don't even want to look at this. It hurts my face to look at this. If it's not attractive to you, it's probably not going to be attractive to other people.
Right. And the other thing I'll say is take a look at the words, because we use broad terms like I'll help you change your life, or we help with nothing is coming to my brain right now. Like we make big impact. Like these are all big terms that people use that don't actually tell me anything. Like you're going to help me change my life. Great. Are you going to help me change my life because you're going to help me lose weight, because you're going to help me with my diet, because you're going to help me have a better mindset, because you're going to help me keep my kids from crying in the middle of the night? Like, how are you going to change my life? That might be a result that you have. But I think the other thing is really make sure you're hyper specific on what it is that you do, because the thing we think about with our website copy is like, yeah, we think of it, we're trying to get more people, we're trying to get more people, we're trying to get more people. But we want the right people. So it's also about allowing people to self-select out, so you don't waste time, effort, and energy on people that aren't the right fit.
That's such a great phrase I love to use. When people go away, like that's okay, because that means you're taking a stand and you're going to one of the edges. And unless you're going to the edges, you're pandering to the middle. And to your point earlier, you're going to spend a lot of time with a lot of people that aren't a good fit for you and what you do, and you're probably going to get frustrated. They're going to get frustrated, and then really dangerous, you start personalizing the lack of success and making it about you when it's not even about you. And so I'd love to really shift gears a little bit and talk about, just as a business owner and a leader, because I know you've got a few different businesses that you facilitate, and you got a couple other companies you serve as marketing and PR, and got your hands in lots of pies up there in Minnesota.
I do.
And yeah, that's really cool. I'm the same way. Like, I love to crush it all over, right? And so, how do you stay focused with so much going on?
That is a great question, and it's a practice for me, and something that like August was a crazy month, and I felt really discombobulated. Now we're going into September as we record this, and I'm getting a little bit more laser focused. So it's not always perfect by any means. But I think for me, when I first started my business, that feast or famine was huge. And I would have months that were amazing, and I would have months that were really difficult. And I knew quickly that was something I wanted to get out of. So that's why I collaborate with so many people, and why I love to diversify some of the programs and things that I'm involved in, because it all just kind of helps balance, the growth of my business. So I don't have to really, I think I also just did too much at the beginning. Like, you do too many things all by yourself, and it just kind of stagnates your growth. So as far as answering your question, how do I keep everything all organized? I'm a huge fan of the Full Focus Planner. So I love setting my annual goals. And then I love the Full Focus Planner because I break it down by quarter, and then I break it down by week, and then I break it down by day. So it's much easier for me to manage what I'm doing and not get so overwhelmed with, okay, but I have to do all of these things. I'm a huge fan of project management tools. I live and die by my project management tool. Everything is in there. So when I show up, I'm focused on what I need to do today, because I know everything else has its space. So I don't have to think about it. This is what I'm doing today. This is what I'm going to get done, which I know is going to work towards what I need to get done tomorrow. And then the
Is
third
that
thing
Full
that I'll
Focus
say,
Planner? Is that Michael Hyatt?
it's Michael Hyatt's. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
awesome
It's
at
awesome.
productivity for sure.
Yeah. But the last thing that I do is I have a weekly checklist or a daily checklist, which are like my tedious tasks, the things that I don't really like to do, but I need to do, like social media stuff, like, just making sure I'm following up with my podcast guests. So I have something every single day, like scheduling my emails, getting my show notes done. So that I do first thing in the morning, knock it out. I have a checklist, so I know everything that needs to be done. And then my brain is free. I mean, I don't know how you feel when I have like a whole list of to-dos, then I can't be creative. I can't focus on bigger projects. I can't serve my clients the way I need to. So that just really helps me free up all that brain space.
No, I mean, there's so much brilliance in what you just said. Yeah, it's the same way for pretty much every human, right? Because if we're trying to hold all these different ideas in our head at once, it's really dangerous, because each one of those ideas takes a piece of our attention. And there's like
Mm-hmm.
a thought, oh gosh, I can't remember who said it, but it was a beautiful thought. It talked about attention residue. Every time we look at something, we leave some attention on that, some residue of that attention, and you're dissipating your power literally when you do that. But when you have like a plan, like you do, right, that relieves you of the torment of choice, right, has been said, and that's really great. I don't have to wake up and guess what to do. I don't find myself just staring off into space when I know there's something I should be doing, but then I start feeling guilty, and it's such a mind mess you create for yourself when you don't have a plan like that.
Mm-hmm.
So what? Well, obviously you're pretty focused, so there's not like a million baby ducks nibbling you to death, which is good. Like a lot of business owners, fall victim to, myself in the past. So what kind of things do drain you internally or externally?
Oh goodness. Well, work-wise, I would say the biggest drain for me is when I'm partnered with a client that is not the right fit. Um, because then every time you get that email or a phone call that says, "Hey, can we check in on something?" I feel like I'm going to go to the principal's office, right? Like you assume you're going to be in trouble. Uh, so I think that's been a real big shift in my business, is just making sure that we're vetting our clients before we take them on, to make sure that that we're the right fit for them, that they're the right fit for us. And then, we're just in this dance right now of like, we're getting ready to add some more team members to take some of the tasks. So I think it's also systems drain me. I love systems, but like putting systems down on paper to where somebody can take them over for me is like the task that has been on my to-do list for probably 3 years. And I really want to do it. I know it's going to be really good for me, but for some reason it's like the thing that I can't do. That's just being real.
Yeah, no, I totally get it. I mean, that's very similar. It sounded like I was talking to myself there. It's like, I'm very organic, in the way that I approach things, and that works really well for me. Ready, fire, aim is
Yep.
usually how I roll, but that's cool. That keeps me from getting paralysis by analysis for sure. But if we're doing something more than once, we definitely needed some sort of a system. And that word, gosh, even that word, I like it's cringeworthy to me. But you know what? There's beautiful people out there who are really good at that, and I've learned a lot from them. And so, once I get it set, though, like I've got a system, and I'm gonna have to tweak it. But once it's in place, it's so freeing. And one of the ways that I've gotten around the resistance there is just quantifying it. Like as soon as I quantify the time that I'm taking every time to do this thing, and I can see a number, I'm like, okay, but then I got to actually do that too. And I avoid that, right? Because I know the result, right? And then I'm going to have to make a system. But you know what? Like, that's okay. We're all imperfect, perfect beings here. So what would you give just as somebody's, looking to create systems? What's a tip you've learned that's been, conducive to serving you and your business?
Yeah, I actually just recorded a podcast yesterday with somebody talking about this exact topic. And then I'm also in a group mastermind, which has also been incredible. And so these tips I've heard over and over and over again. So, which is record yourself doing the things. So if you have a VA coming in who's going to manage your email or who's going to manage your project management tool or do your social media, or you're hiring somebody to come into your team, that's a new position that you've been doing, literally just video record yourself doing the task and then create your document for this, or even have them create the document for you off the video, because so many times we just do half of our process. We don't even realize is our process because you just do it so many times. So when you video record it, it will help create, it's faster because you're already doing the task anyway. And B, it will show kind of the things that maybe you just inherently do that you wouldn't pass on to somebody in like a one-on-one training.
Yeah, that's so helpful. I use Loom for that. And it's such the free version's amazing on Loom. And it's so powerful when you can just, like you said, record what you're doing instead of 18 emails later, just actually adding more confusion than any clarification. And
or sitting down at a blank piece of Google sheet and trying to like write everything out. Like my brain all suddenly is just like, I can't even remember the steps that I do.
Yeah. And then,
but if I just do it, it's so much easier.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yes. Because like I've never done it the way of just filling out a blank piece of paper, but I've done it the way I do it actually many times. So why would I go out and try to do it a whole new way? And that's the human condition, right?
Yep.
Let's take the long way and get the square peg crammed in that round hole real quick.
Yep.
So what's your mastermind like? I love masterminds. I'm in a mastermind. I host a mastermind, and I think there's so much power in that. I'd love to just know what kind of things y'all do in there.
Yeah, so I have been in Amber McHugh's coaching program for several years. I'm a mentor in her program now, and hers is, largely women, but we're all women who are in the digital space for the most part. So like that looks like all sorts of different things, and most, like I would say about half of us are women that have had kind of quote unquote corporate careers, but are now shifting into our own way of serving people. And so it's a great thing. And I highly recommend people check out and put themselves, whether it be in person or online. I think it's about finding the right fit for the type of push and accountability you need, because everybody's different, right? And how they need to grow and scale their business. So, ours is largely weekly calls where we all get together, and each call is a little bit different, right? The first week of the month, we're game planning. The second week of the month, we're kind of just masterminding and supporting each other. The third week of the month is similar. And then the fourth week, actually, we only meet 3 times a month because the fourth week is like an action week, like just do all the work that we've been talking about all month. So it's just great accountability. That's what I like about it. And networking and hearing ideas from other people on a regular basis that are either a little bit farther ahead of where you are, and then being able to provide that support and mentorship for people that are coming right up behind where you've been, I think is a powerful thing.
Yeah, that's such a great point right there. It's like we really need 3 types of people around us if we want to grow and as fast as we can, or as effective as we can. And I need somebody to learn from. I need somebody to teach, because I'm going to go deeper on what I'm learning, and then I need somebody to run with. That's not a competitor, but is running towards common goals.
Mm-hmm.
And man, that's incredibly motivating and inspiring, and it shaves so much wasted time in your head. Just worrying or whatever you do when you're there, right? Which is worries the default.
Yeah, well, and I think too, it's the collaboration. Like the people that are in this group with me are now speaking on my podcasts. They're speaking at my summits. They're connecting me to people that are speaking at my summits. They're, we're becoming referral partners for each other for like, goods and services. So it's just also a great way to kind of build engagement in your business with people you trust.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, tell us a little bit about what your summits look like so we can come see all the greatness there.
Yeah. So we have the online fundraising virtual summit, which is geared towards nonprofits. And what we do is it's a 5-day summit helping them build, launch, plan, grow, scale their monthly donor programs so they can have more sustainability in their organizations and turn those monthly donors into larger givers and major givers one day.
So you said you usually do 5 days?
It's 5 days. Yeah, it's October 24th through the 27th this year. It's usually in October every year.
Where can people go to learn more about that?
Onlinefundraisingsummit.com.
Ooh, cool. And so what's a typical day look like?
So if you come for free, you're welcome to watch all of the sessions live. They stay up for about 24 hours. So it's like we're fine tuning the hours right now, but it should be from 11 to 2. There'll be 4 sessions every day, Central Standard Time. And then if you want to upgrade to our fundraisers toolkit, then we have additional co-working sessions that are available to you so you can take action on the stuff immediately.
That's very
and other
cool.
stuff, but yeah, it's really fun. It's one of my favorite things to do because I love collaboration. I think collaboration is the key to a healthy business, and I get to learn and hang out with 20 other amazing speakers because we also don't know everything. So I get to learn from them and hone in on some of my skills and just meet some incredible organizations.
Well, you're definitely ahead of a lot of people, right? Owning and understanding that you don't know everything, right?
I know.
That's really powerful. It took me 3 decades to get to that point, but I finally got there, right? It's like, if I didn't know, I thought I had to know, and I should know, and all this other stuff that the ego wants us to think.
Yep.
That's really powerful. All right, let's go in a little fire round. I'm sure you've got stuff to do with
Oh boy.
5 different companies you're running and all the good stuff that's happening over there at your at HQ. So what's one of your favorite pieces of mindset advice to share?
Oh, that it's up to you. That we put I guess this isn't a quick answer, but that the things that you say to yourself are what you're going to accomplish.
Yeah,
I guess.
well said. Yeah, very, very true. What's something in your life that's non-negotiable?
Dinner time with my family. I would say that's the one time that we all 100% get to hang out and be together.
Oh, now I'm hungry, Sammy. Good
sorry.
job.
I know my son just texted me and asked what's for lunch.
That was my next thought. It's like I'm always hungry, so it's nothing new. That never changes. All right, what's a favorite book to read or recommend or give away?
I love anything that is. Why am I blanking on his name? I have a name problem. Shoot. He
What's
wrote
the title?
Purple Cow. He wrote
Seth Godin.
Seth Godin. Anything by Seth Godin is a good read. I think he just has a really good way of breaking things down in the marketing, in the mindset, in the building raving fans. Yeah. So anything by him.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan. And I've read The Practice most recently of his a couple of times. I really like that book.
Yep.
Like I listened to it first and I want to buy this. And so I read it on the Kindle too. Like, gosh, that's good. And he's got such an easy way that he writes. It's like a conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's so easy to just go into and feel really good about it. All right, what's one message if you could get it out to everybody in the world? What would that be?
To avoid perfection, that people need to have and be a part of what it is that you're putting out in the world because nobody does it like you. And that if somebody says something to you because you made a mistake, it's not a mistake. It's just an opportunity for a conversation.
Yeah, it definitely is true. You know, people do need to hear what you have to say because you're a very unique being. And so you need to share that genius with the world. All right. What does freedom mean to you here on the Unlock Your Freedom podcast?
Ooh, freedom, I think to me means having control over what I say yes and I say no to. So being able to have that option, because what we might want is going to change on a regular basis. But if I continually have the choice for what I say yes and no to, then I'm making the right choices for me in the moment.
Very cool. All right, last question. Once again, where can people go to learn more about you, connect with you, and engage with you?
Yeah. So I'm most active on LinkedIn. So you can search for me at Sami Bedell-Mulhern. Otherwise, you can go to thefirstclick.net. That's where most of our digital products and freebies and resources live.
All righty. Well, thanks, Sammy. Man, this is fun getting to connect with you again. So
Yeah,
thanks
super
for
fun.
sharing your genius with us. And you guys, thanks for sticking through to the end. If you found some value, definitely connect with Sammy and please share this with your peeps. We love you guys. Thanks for joining us on the Unlock Your Freedom podcast.